We are recording. You can count yourself in, Isaac, and then we can start.
Oh, unbelievable. So that's a bit nervous, isn't it?
I'm a bit nervous, yeah.
Right.
We're only talking to ourselves.
I know.
We have all met each other before.
Alrighty.
Okay.
All right, shut up so I can do this, right?
Uh-huh.
Hello and welcome to The Three Schooners. My name is Isaac.
My name's David.
And my name is JJ.
And we're here to talk some shit, really. We're just going to have a bit of a yarn about all kinds of weird and interesting things. And what's our topic today, boys?
I believe our topic today is what life is like in stage 4 lockdown in Melbourne, because there's been a lot of talk about that on various media outlets. So that's what we're going to cover today. And to help us with our chats, we're going to do what, JJ?
We're just going to drink some beers, mate. That's what we're going to do.
What have you got there, mate?
What have I got? Well, what have I got, Dave? I have got... It's going to be the same answer every week. I have got a Desperado.
Unbelievable.
It's the best of the beers. Out of all of them, looking right off the bat, looking for that sponsorship, Desperado. Clear off the bat.
Hashtag Desperado.
Yeah.
Straight off the bat. I am your man. So I'm just gonna open mine now. Dave, what have you got?
I have got a true Aussie pale ale, refreshing. This is Furphy. It's actually made in Geelong, which is, for those who don't really know, Melbourne. It's the second biggest city in Victoria. Is that correct?
Did you research that before this?
Someone told me the other week. Could have been a crazy guy. Someone who really liked Geelong, but yeah, no. So it's a satellite. They use the term satellite city.
I believe it's where Prince Charles went to school.
Really?
Yeah, honestly, I think he did, yeah.
That is a great fun fact. I'm from Melbourne and I have no idea.
I will. That's the magic of us doing this. I get computers. I can look that up.
Just have a running tally of fun facts. It's like, oh fuck,
cool.
we need something a little bit interesting for this segment. Like, let's just jump on Google.
Yeah. He 100% did. Yep.
Yeah. If the internet says it, it's real. So
Geelong Grammar he went to.
Yeah.
There you go.
Fucking A.
All right. And as for you, Isaac?
Well, for those that don't know, I'm currently living in a hostel and we deep cleaned a bunch of rooms. So I just pocketed whatever I found. I've got a counterculture So Long Darkness Stout.
That is the most wanky thing I've ever heard in my life. Wow.
It's like a weird hipster version of a Guinness.
I love, my favourite part of that was the bit where you described the first bit and then there was just so long darkness.
Darkness, my old friend.
So long darkness.
The Three Schooners going to drink with you again.
Yeah, I also like that you said a hostel instead of a hostel, like every Australian does.
It's like tomatoes and tomato, isn't it?
He's not really Australian, Isaac, though, is he? I
don't know what he is. I don't know how you describe him.
I've been surrounded by you guys for too long.
Yeah,
that's right. We've
You're more United Kingdom than we are.
Already?
Yeah.
Should we probably see how we all know each other? That would help.
We normally do, just for anyone who's getting into this, we normally do a theme tune right now. But
and the thing is, we don't know if we've chosen the theme tune by the time this comes out, so there could have been one. In case there's not been one, this is the new theme tune. Ta-da!
For beers, that's your civic duty. That's what's most important, and that's what must be done. Beers, get on the beers, and that's what must be done.
Hopefully I played a clip of a song.
The power of editing.
Yeah. They love it. They absolutely love it.
What a belter. Love it. That's gonna be in the charts next week.
Introductions, how we know each other would probably help bring people along.
Yeah, you two explain how you two know each other.
Okay, I'll go first. So I arrived in Australia about 2.5 years ago. Fed up on my life back home, wanted a break from it, jumped on a plane, came over, and I landed in a hostel called Base Backpackers. And I
Never heard
arrived.
of
Yeah, I arrived there. It's a very popular backpacker chain. Again, if you wish to sponsor us.
that was great.
So yeah, I arrived there, and basically the next day I went down to reception. I was like, "Give me a job. You have a bar. Give me a job. I've worked in bars." And enough pestering, they gave me a job. And who else worked behind the bar? Mr. Isaac himself.
Hello.
He was a duty manager at the time, and I took orders from Isaac, and from there we worked together, and a beautiful friendship started.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Yeah.
It fostered into something amazing. You went off, went traveling, you came back.
I know.
When you came back, I was more than a duty manager somehow.
Yeah,
I don't know how that happened.
I came back, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm the boss of the hostel, pretty much." I've been gone
like this.
I've been gone 6 months. Progression works quick. Yeah.
Desperate times. It's the one advantage of being Australian in a hostel that only employs English people.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you're there, it's like, fuck, he can stay here longer than 6 months. You're promoted. You're the boss now. It's fine.
Which, on that note, anyone who's interested in that sort of thing is, like Isaac said, if you're a holiday backpacker in Australia, you can only work for an employer for 6 months under the visa restrictions. So basically, it's a constant door of people passing through. So Isaac looks like he said, looks like God, because he doesn't have to go anywhere. So yeah. And then JJ.
Yeah, so I appeared in December. I think I arrived here December 1st, 2018. I came over with my lovely fiance, Yasmin, and we lived with my mum for a bit. Then we moved into the city, and I met through friends of friends, because everyone was coming to Melbourne at the time, and loads of friends were coming over here, and they introduced me to the people that they knew that lived there, here. And I met someone called Sarah Young, and she told me that she was a bar manager in a place called Hotel Bartley. And I went, well, sometimes I DJ if you're ever looking for some. She's like, yeah, I've got this thing. And my mate Dave, he's always looking for DJs. And she asked you if I could DJ at your night, and you had no idea who I was. And, and she just was like, can you do me a favor though, and just let him do it?
Yeah, he's really good. He's got all the Now CDs.
So fresh hits of 2018.
I brought my best iPod and my best
I didn't actually know that. I didn't know how you guys.
You
just kind of appeared on the scene, JJ, and I was like,
Sarah was like, yeah, I've got a mate, he's a good DJ, and I was like, I'll decide. And
I am the captain now.
I was like, yeah, I'll give him an early slot. I think
you gave me the opening slot or something,
which sounds good, the opening slot for people who don't DJ, but it's actually probably one of the worst slots. Like no one there.
I think they're literally, when it opened, there was literally no one there.
Yeah,
and when I finished the set, that was when people started coming in. I was like,
I probably met you 3 times before I actually realized I met you too. I was walking off my nut. Yeah. And Dave's like, oh, this is my friend. I'm like, come up to me, like, oh, hey man, how are you? I'm like, sure, yeah, right. Why not?
I met you many times. I also often got you confused with Lisa Kerr from behind.
Yeah, that's fair.
For anyone that doesn't know, Lisa's got the same hair as Isaac. So I did the opening slot, and after that, Dave just asked me to go back.
I realised you were actually better than me.
Not true in the slightest, but thank you. And we ended up, we spent a Thursday night somewhere. You were DJing in a place called, was it Veludo?
Veludo, yeah.
Yeah, and the Thursday. And he said, yeah, just come along. And I got so drunk that I couldn't go to work the next day because it wasn't safe for me to drive. My only recollection is lying on the floor in a McDonald's car park, trying to eat the chips that had fallen on the ground.
Yeah,
And then,
we can edit that out if you need as well.
not a chance.
Yeah. He doesn't work there anymore. And we have good fun. Even Isaac's been up behind the decks, pretending.
I mean, all I do is there's a hack. All right, so people playing at home, there's a hack that I have discovered, which you should definitely remember in the back of your brain. If you get proper headphones and you plug it into the mic port on a DJ.
No, do not take this into consideration.
More often than not, there's an audio controller and they can also work as a microphone.
The reason for that, just quickly, is that they're both transducers, and the way that they make and put outside are technically the same way. So you can use a microphone as a headphone as well.
Did not know that. Point is, plug it in, and then you can just talk into it like this, and you can have a PA for the whole venue.
Yeah.
And it is superb. Which
Isaac did when I was mid-set, because we wanted to hype up the crowd, and then I was like, What did you just do?
It's like Inception.
And then what happened was, that was the worst thing he could have possibly taught me, because whenever I was drunk, I was like, I just want to make an announcement.
I swear I did. So in the bar that Dave and I managed together, we had a pretty common theme of doing $5 Jaeger bombs almost every night. It was just like our thing. We'd do it for 10 minutes, pump up the crowd, gets everyone a bit saucy, makes a bit more money in the bar. It's a win-win for everyone. But now we've taken that as a mantra that we will then go to other bars that aren't doing $5 Jaegers and announce $5 Jaegers. And then the bartenders will look at us and be like, what the fuck are you doing? This is a normal bar. Jaeger bombs cost like $10. And we're like, no, it's fine. I said it. I said it on the microphone. It's fine.
To everyone in the UK, that'll sound obscene that they cost that much money.
Oh,
yeah, so that'll be
alcohol's so expensive here.
Yeah, but that's like what, £2.50?
No, $10 Jaeger bomb, mate. Think about it.
Oh no, a $5 Jaeger bomb.
Yeah, but that's a discount.
For example, I can get one Desperado in a bar in Glasgow called Driftwood. Shout out to Driftwood. Sponsorship.
Hashtag sponsor.
As you can tell, we're very in the market for sponsorship.
I'm not saying we're looking, but we're not looking. Okay?
Even NordVPN, if you want to keep it up.
That doesn't rule you out, ExpressVPN. I could get one of the. I can get a Desperado for £1 back home. £1. For me to buy 24 Desperados is $90 here.
Yeah,
45 quid.
Yeah. Which, that was the thing when I came over to Australia. It was like, wow, alcohol's expensive. I used to comfortably drink doubles back home and think I was hard. And they were like, look at me with a double. And then
you became a DJ and it was all free.
Yeah. And then, So basically the trick is you come over to Australia, you realize everything's expensive. So then just become a DJ, get a slot at a club, and they give you drinks for free.
For free.
Yeah. So,
or you just pretend to be a DJ and just be friends with all the DJs.
Yeah. And they give you free drinks. Yeah. That's how you do it. But when I first got here, one of my friends, Liam and Ellie, they were a couple, I know, from back home, and they were over here. And I walked into the bar and they ordered a round, and they were like, the secret is happy hour. Happy hour is the key to drinking in Australia, which I don't know about you, JJ, but back in the UK, we didn't really. Happy hour wasn't really a thing I noticed. It was around, but it's not as big as it is in Australia.
Yeah, we're not allowed to in Scotland. It's illegal.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, you've got to sell your alcohol for a certain amount per unit. You can't go under it. So there's literally no way that you can go under a certain price, because we've got price per unit minimums, and you can't go under that. So yeah, we can't have that.
See, most licenses in Victoria, like I've got a license across from me that I'm tempted to go grab and read, but it will say like you cannot promote alcohol at a discounted rate to excessive drink. You can't do this, you can't do that. But and even our license even says you cannot have happy hours or any other discounted drinks, right? But we definitely do, and everyone does, and it just makes no sense.
You just put that into the fucking ether, mate. That's great.
The bar's closed. It doesn't exist. It's fine.
Yeah. But that was the thing when we come over here. And for those who don't know, in Australia, if you want to work on a bar, you've got to get an RSA, a responsible service of alcohol. And when you do this, what is it? It's pretty much like a 4-hour course or something. You go to a classroom and they sit you down and you do this course and they teach you how to serve alcohol responsibly. You don't have that in the UK. If someone's drunk in the UK, you're like, get out, mate. In Australia, if someone's drunk at the bar and you serve them and you've done your RSA and all that, you could get fined ridiculous amounts of money if you get caught.
It's so ridiculous here that hypothetically, never happens, but hypothetically, if someone was to get served by Dave, so JJ gets served by Dave, JJ then
likely.
Loving it. Have you got any desperados, mate?
then JJ goes all the way home, right? 3 suburbs over in a taxi, bowls out of the taxi, rolls up to his house, and then slips over, concusses himself, and dies. It is technically possible to then sue Dave for serving him too much alcohol. Like,
I don't know how I'm going to sue him if I'm dead. That's going to be a hard one.
Yeah.
But like on your behalf, right? Your family could do it. Like that is
my
beyond.
My mum would 100% sue Dave. 100%.
Yeah.
Dave, you'll be getting sued.
I mean, I have no money because as anyone might be aware, we're just amidst a pandemic. So
the pandemic.
Yeah, what a segue. What a segue.
Great segue.
Did you see how I did that?
Great segue.
So yeah, so we all are in a pandemic. Isaac's living in a hostel. JJ's locked in that room.
I've not been out of this room in 7 months.
And
there's a pile in the corner that you don't want to touch.
Yeah, this is my apartment. Just this bit. Yeah.
Just that box.
Yeah, just this bit.
So we basically, for those that don't know, we've got 4 levels in Victoria, and level 3 is what we were at, which was basically you can only go outside to work or to exercise or to go shopping or to seek medical attention, right? And then they made it now to level 4, which the only difference is that there's like a curfew. You can go and exercise for an hour. Between
8 at night and 5 a.m. So really you're not doing anything at those times anyway.
I know, which...
The differences are very minimal, and you can't go to Kmart. That's it. You can't go to Kmart.
Big W shop.
Yeah, which when this all happened, it was like, okay, the world. You were looking at Italy, and Italy was in lockdown. And from what you saw on the media, they weren't allowed to leave their houses, and they were doing little parties from their balcony.
Yeah, hard lockdown.
Yeah, real hard, and then. Obviously, it started spreading all over the world, and then it came to New Zealand, and New Zealand were like, anyone who had a sniffle, they were like stage 4 straight away. And Jacinda, that's her name, isn't it? Jacinda, she did stage 4 and managed to eliminate coronavirus pretty effectively.
For 100 days without a case, then it suddenly appeared again.
Yeah, which is shit.
Yeah.
But she did stage 4 and that was it. And from what I have in my friends, and I might be wrong on this, but what I have of friends in New Zealand, it was like it came into effect midnight on the day or the day after they announced it. And wherever you were, you had to stay there. So if you were in your hostel and you were at a friend's house and at midnight struck, you have to stay at your friend's house. There's no real going from there or something. That's how it was portrayed.
Yeah. So they had, I think it was 3 days notice. So it was like Wednesday midnight. Wherever you sleep that night is where you have to sleep for the next 4 weeks. So I had some friends that were managing some hostels over in New Zealand, and they essentially, it was like bordering up the front doors. Like, you're here and you're stuck. The only people that are allowed to leave were if they were going to the airport to then go home.
Right.
And if someone tried to go outside, they had the full. They were fully allowed to call the police there and then and be like, cool, this person's just left. They're not going to the airport. They're doing something illegal. And the police would come and arrest them. Like it was hard lockdown. What
I want to say about that is I personally think that's the right way to go about things. That makes sense. And it's very effective, as we've seen that they kind of got rid of it very quickly. Okay, they've had a slight resurgence. But it essentially went away for a third of a year, like 100 days.
Yeah.
And people over here in Victoria right now are calling on like Dan Andrews' government and all that, saying that, they're being a dictatorship. They're not letting us go and do all these things. And we're still doing everything. We're still doing everything we can normally do. Okay, we can't have a party, but we've got a virus going about just now. Cool. That'll ease. Imagine that it was the case that they had done exactly what Jacinda Ardern had done and had locked everything out entirely. It's instances like that you need to go, maybe what this government's doing for us right now is a good thing, and stop being so absolutely psycho about your conspiracy theories, which are
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's one of those things where it's like you had a limping horse, right? Like you had a horse with a broken leg trying to run a race, and then they started like minimizing how many people you could have in a bar, which I understood, and then they minimized it even more, and then they're like, oh, you're allowed to do takeaway, but you're not allowed to do this, and it's just like nothing's effective enough, right? And just by biding time, and you don't know what's going to happen, right? It takes 14 days once you get the test results and this and hibernation period and all this kind of stuff, incubation period. It's going to take some time before you actually know how many people are infected or getting infected and all this. So all these silly little steps they were doing in the lead up before our level 3, I just thought were pointless. Like it was just like, just put the horse down kind of thing, and just like, let's do it properly.
That's what should have been done. Now, you spoke about getting tested. I believe we've all been tested, yeah?
Yeah.
I've been tested 3 times.
We
Twice
went
I've been
to
tested.
the first time me and Isaac went together, because we were just like,
No, I'm talking about for coronavirus, not that STD.
Yeah. Well, wait, let's not talk about that.
So, all right, fun story as to why we got tested, right? So, like we said, I run a bar and hostel and stuff. Dave was our DJ and all that kind of stuff. And we have this Monday event called Bingo, and it's huge.
Whoa, I've never heard of that, mate.
I love how you were like, we have this event on Monday called Bingo.
How do you pronounce it?
I didn't want to say boozy bingo because technically I can get in trouble for that.
Well, you've just said it.
Just like the happy hour thing. Yeah, it's called beep and bingo. So it's called Boozy Bingo. We have like 200 odd people. Everyone's jumping on tables. You make out if the number 16 gets called and all this kind of stuff, right? And a week later, someone posted on their Instagram story saying, hey guys, really sorry. I've tested positive for COVID-19, coronavirus. If you've been near me, please get tested. And we all freaked out, right? He was at one of the bingos. He kissed 4 or 5 people, just like pecks on the cheek, whatever. But like fluids were potentially passed around.
It's not a tiny room, but it gets that busy in the room. You start thinking, you're like, oh,
absolutely.
And it was all scary then. You didn't know how it transmitted and stuff like that. So back in those days, you think like, I'm next to the person. I'm gonna have it. You know?
We also felt like we had an obligation. Like I run this hostel. I'm constantly talking to people, handing key cards over, helping people up to their rooms with their bags and all that kind of stuff. For me to arrogantly assume I don't have it and potentially be spreading it around, that'd be terrible of me. So we went and got tested. And
now, what you don't know, Isaac, is the first time I get tested was because of this incident. Because I was DJing with Dave on the Thursday, and he went, "Oh yeah, we had to go get tested." Or we've just heard. I think he heard on the Thursday. That's what it was. No, you guys heard on the Friday. I was with him on the Thursday, and then he went, "Oh, by the way, I need to go get tested because I was round someone." And I went, "I was round you, so now I need to go get tested." Thanks, mate.
It's like a domino effect, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
So,
but that goes to show like contagion and how easily it could spread.
Yeah, which I feel like they don't. There's just so many myths and so much fear and panic as well, and everyone has their own theories. And obviously, you said earlier about the conspiracy theories and everything, and each country's tackling it a different way, and some countries beat it better than others. Is that's got to be the right way, but New Zealand, like we were saying before, New Zealand did this hard lockdown, and then we're doing stage 4 now, a bit later. But I do feel, and the reason we kind of did this podcast, or make this the topic of the podcast, was there has been a lot of media coverage on Victoria, and we've become kind of this focal point of where we beat coronavirus, and now we're back in it, and we're getting high numbers of cases. But when I speak to friends back home and they're like, "Oh, it must be bad over there. You're in stage 4. What's that even like?" Thinking that we're in chains and stuff like that. We can't even leave our house. But it's like you said earlier, it's not actually that different from stage 3. Stage 3 is everything's locked down, takeaways, like you said, and we move to stage 4, and it just, we've got to wear a mask, and you get fined if you don't wear a mask if you go outside. But there's so many people walking around in the day, and it's just like, at one point I was looking at it, I was like, oh, what do these people put on their masks? And suddenly they feel like they're protected from the virus, so they're just going to carry on about what they were doing anyway, but because they've got a mask on, the safe.
Well, that's exactly why at the start, people were like, the WHO and everyone was not advising to wear masks, because without properly wearing them, they don't necessarily do anything. So it's like a false sense.
The people that wear a mask that doesn't cover their nose,
like things like that.
Them, honestly, no, you get deleted at that point. Just that's not how it works.
It's wearing it like this. Yes, I've got a mask. It's invisible.
I like the chin strap. They just pull it down, chin strap, and then just walk around like they've got this extended beard.
Well, the thing with that, right, is that doesn't work, because if you're in close proximity with someone, no, obviously, but let me embellish on that, right?
Okay.
So say you're next to someone and you're wearing your mask properly, right? You got it like this. I'm going to do this so you can still hear me. You got it there, and then they sneeze on you, and it goes a bit there and a bit on your neck, right? And then you bring your mask down, and then your neck.
No, you're just collecting it, aren't you?
Neck sneeze goes into the mask, and then you bring your mask back up, and then it's just, you create a little parcel there, right? Like, you're not meant to put it on your neck. You're not meant to be doing anything like that, because that's pointless. Because your neck's got everyone else's sneeze on it.
Yeah, you got a sneezy neck. One of my friends, which I thought was quite an interesting point, one of my friends turned around to me today and was like, dude, this year I haven't had a cold. And I was like, neither have I. Like, I normally get a cold, like, every time. I'm weird. Every time, I don't know if other people get this, but when the seasons change, I'd normally get a cold. I've not had one this year. Back in England, like, I'd be 4 or 5 colds a year. I've not had one. Now, I thought that was interesting, because is that because we are just more hygienic, like we're sanitizing our hands every 5 minutes, little do you know, you might walk into a cafe and touch the card machine, but little do you know, that's probably been wiped down 5 minutes before. You get on a bus or a tram or something, you touch the pole, that's probably been cleaned down 5 minutes before or something. So it just goes to show you, like, I haven't had a cold or anything, and one of my friends is reporting that. So it just shows how much, if it is true that the fact that we're taking all this extra diligence to clean down things, it shows how much bacteria is on our hands day to day when you're moving about and stuff like that. It's pretty disgusting, really.
But not all of it's bad. Like, in a normal situation, some of that bacteria is good for you in a way. Like, sometimes you need good bacteria to be flying around, and that's how you build immunities to things and all that.
Yeah.
So 100%, like, if by social distancing, by sanitizing, all that, you're going to eliminate a bunch of stuff. But then it also, if you did this long term, right? Let's say we did this for 10, 15, 20 years, your body's not going to know how to deal with things that are bad. Like, you come in contact with just a normal cold, and you could be like hospitalized in 10 years' time because your body doesn't know how to deal with all that kind of stuff.
That's why they think that people live in prisoners, some would call them, are so resilient to this, because they're in such close contact with people all the time that their immune system's constantly, getting all these new things and things that could potentially infect them.
I think I had something similar. It was like people in India, like, no disrespect to India or something, but like their immune systems were higher because of, like,
they live in close quarters.
Yeah. A lot of Asia's shown pretty good resilience, like Southeast Asia, Thailand, Laos,
Japan's done amazingly.
And there's thoughts as well that there's potentially coronaviruses, so not COVID-19, but other coronaviruses that have been floating about unknowingly throughout Southeast Asia that have helped build a bit of a tolerance. And that could be part of the reason as to why so much of that's, like, Southeast Asia and Asia in general are just doing really, really well as all the mask wearing and all that. But even if they've got the cases, they're not necessarily, the death rates aren't as high.
I was looking at the UK's death rate today, and honestly, it's obscenely high for the population, just obscene.
But that's also, doesn't. They don't record their recovery cases, do they?
Yeah.
So
which is weird because that makes you look better, surely. You know,
Yeah.
that's how many people recovered.
Well, wasn't it something like they were recording non-COVID deaths as COVID deaths or so? I don't know how many governments are doing this, but it's
there's a lot of grey surrounding all of that.
skewed numbers. Yeah.
And I
Let's
just
not jump into that too far.
it's just a bit odd. I just can't explain why they would do it. Like, why would you not say how many people have recovered? Why, if you've got, it'd be really easy to figure out. You just look at the amount of cases there are and the amount of people that died and just figure it out from there. Surely, like, that's because we've got those numbers, we can figure out the recovered. But it's crazy to me that a country such as the UK or a country such as America, the USA, sorry, that have such high standards in first world countries of healthcare, and they're like, this is what how badly they've done.
Yeah. Well, even Sweden aren't recording their recovered cases.
Yeah, that's because they didn't go into lockdown. They're like, we made a mistake.
Why? I feel like you can't. I'm not pro herd immunity, but I'm not against it either.
That's going to come back to my fun fact today, so we'll get to that later on.
I think you can't. So some people are saying Sweden's failed. Other people are saying Sweden's done amazing. You can't, until like 2 years have passed, you cannot compare.
Yeah,
I think there's so much longevity. Like, you could say New Zealand did it perfectly, right? But then now they've got their second wave. If that spiraled out of control, then they didn't do it perfectly, theoretically.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So until this is over, until we get a vaccine or treatment or whatever over looks like, until that happens, then you can backdate. Then you can look at all the data and be like, cool, these countries did it well because X, Y, Z.
Yeah. Oh, but you can't get the vaccine because they'll the government will trace you and the 5G will get you.
Some of the conspiracy theories have been outrageous, but like, even at the minute, like, it's been posted on social media groups in our local community, and there's
that flyer that was,
there's some guy going around the local neighborhood and he's posting flyers, and it's just like, it's all a conspiracy. The government's out to get you. It amazes me. And like in stage 4, I won't lie, like, things feel pretty claustrophobic. Yeah, when the highlight of your day is going for a walk, which is which is nice. I've never walked so much in my life, but it gets a bit tedious, and that is your only real escape. Escape from it.
I've taken up cycling. That's also an option, guys.
Yeah, I'm doing cycling.
But today, fun fact, my doctor told me I was clinically obese.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
It's always a good fact to hear, isn't it?
There we go.
But yeah, I feel like obviously it's very claustrophobic, and then it just gives all the crackpots start coming out then, and they just start, I don't know, it's kind of like a stage for them to be like, I've always told you, but you never believe me, and now look at the world, and this is my time to shine, and they start banging out these absurd theories about how it's chemtrails from plane 5G.
What's your best conspiracy theory you've heard about it so far?
One of mine was the curfew was put in place. So one of my friends told me this. The curfew was put in place so the government could do shady dealings after 8 p.m. And someone saw Dan Andrews, who we said his name earlier. For those who don't know, Dan Andrews is the Victoria Premier. So he's kind of in charge of the Victoria State in Australia. And someone saw him doing a handshake at the airport with the Chinese after 8 p.m. So the Chinese got off a plane, shook their hand, and obviously it's a dodgy deal. And he's waited to just after the watershed to do this deal. Best part of this conspiracy theory was like, okay, so have you got any pictures or videos? No, I haven't, but I've got a voice recording of it. So I've got a voice recording of me talking about what's happening as I'm watching it. Well, yeah, I'll stand up in the court.
It just kills me. I feel like I have shut off my Facebook way more than normal, because every time I see something like that, it just kills a bit of me inside.
Yeah.
Like my mum has started a little bit, and my grandma. So my grandma's always been all up in that. Shout out, yeah, Doxy, love you. Stuff about like the government, the oligarchs trying to make trans a normality because of child molesting, and like I'm just like, what is going on? Like, what is this all got to do with each other?
I don't even believe it's just the oddballs in our community, and everyone's entitled to their own opinions, but there's some outrageous opinions out there. But I do feel like the media heavily get on the bandwagon. And
Channel 7. Oh my God.
What you were saying earlier was like Dan Andrews, is a dictator. Now, Saddam Hussein was a dictator. Gaddafi was a dictator. Kim Jong-un or whatever, I can't say his name, but he was a dictator.
Currently in coma.
In a coma, by the way. And then next on that list is Dan Andrews, who one of his slogans was
wearing his North Face jacket, just wanting people to get on the beers, but he can't.
Yeah.
What a dictator! What an absolute dictator!
I love, because that comment there came from an internet meme, which is one of the reasons why the internet can be bad, but I absolutely love it as well, because there was a meme
because of memes.
Yeah, well, memes are great.
It's Matt that made that meme. That was one of our mates, wasn't it?
Well, that was to get on the beers.
Yeah.
But, shout out to Matt, by the way. That was amazing. He's doing an amazing event. Matt, if you want sponsors.
Just
blatant, like first ever attempt at podcast. Like,
Matt,
come on,
Matt, if you let us make that the theme tune.
Yeah.
That's us.
But there was a meme about how fucked Victoria's going to be, and it was based on what Dan Andrews was wearing. So if he did a press conference, what was it, before 10 o'clock with a North Face jacket, yeah, you're fine. If it's after 12, if it's after lunchtime on a weekend and he's wearing a suit, Victoria, you are
bad news.
Fucked. Yeah. So the day where we're like finding out if we're going into lockdown stage 4, and it's like
3:30 it came out.
Yeah, it's Saturday 3:30, and you're just like, fuck.
This is bad news.
We're gonna have to write lines on why we've been bad.
you and I went out. I think we were at Bunnings that day. We were literally there that day.
Again, highlight of my life. Don't normally go to Bunnings. That's what you do in lockdown.
Bunnings was great.
Which for back home is B&Q. Yeah.
So we went to Bunnings and we had this plan to do something. I can't remember what it was. It was do a live stream DJing at Barclay. And you're like, yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it up on the
yeah.
And we had a meeting that day. We'll do it, and we'll have it facing over St Kilda. And I went, no, we won't. Listen, we're going into lockdown tomorrow. I promise you that much. And you looked at me and went, yeah.
I was like, but the child inside me just doesn't want to believe it. But it's like my heart's telling me it's going to happen, Dave. I'm like, no, let's plan a holiday to the Caribbean.
I won't mention. I won't say the name, but someone I knew, still know they're not dead. Someone I know, seen it coming. I might seen down to the day that we would go into stage 4 lockdown, right? And he went, I am moving out of my house and I'm moving to another state. But to get to this other state, you weren't allowed to do it from Victoria. So what he done was he went from Victoria 4 days before lockdown. He went, we're going to get lockdown on this date, and he was 100% right. We're going to get lockdown on this date, and he went to Sydney where he had a friend.
How was he right though? Did he analysed it, or
no idea? No, I couldn't.
He saw the Matrix.
I'll explain this when we're not recording.
Okay.
And he went to Sydney he had to be there for 2 weeks in order to be able to get into Queensland, right? And he was there for 2 weeks. And he was like, watch this. And he goes into Queensland. And the next day, Queensland blocked the border for New South Wales. And he was like, nailed it. Bye. And he made it. He jumped the States with
sunglasses come down.
Done it all legally and done it perfectly. And it was great. Like he called it play by play.
And then 2 weeks later, he tested positive for COVID and fucked up Queensland.
Yeah. But that's a strange day. I don't know if anyone else feel like this, but when you're going into lockdown, there is, and I don't condone panic buying. There's normally enough for us to go around. But you do get that sense of oh shit, after 5 p.m. or 8 p.m, I'm fucked. You know?
Did you make a strange purchase during the first wave of panic buying?
Yeah, I don't know if I brought it here with me, but I had just some shit packet of noodles. And I was just like, I don't even know what this flavor is, but I need it in my cupboard.
I bought DJ decks.
Yeah.
I was going to become a DJ. That didn't last.
No, you were doing all right. You didn't okay.
Shout out to our friend Kerry, our mutual friend, who has been trying really hard to become a DJ. Well done to her. She's stuck
Is Kerry becoming a DJ?
Yeah. She's been practicing. She's been practicing.
Sound.
That's really relevant to everyone that's listening. Oh yeah, Kerry, we know Kerry.
We'll cut it out.
My weird purchase, and I stand by it because I've still got it and it's still doing me well. I bought 10 kilos of rice, and I went, those 10 kilos, those will last me. And you know what? I wasn't wrong. You cannot finish 10 kilos of rice. Jesus.
Even when you're measuring it wrong, you do that thing, you're like, this is the right amount of rice for me.
No.
And it turns into feeding the 5,000 ones.
Yes. You're knocking in your neighbour's door. Anyone want rice?
JJ in the lockdown stage shows just walking around this community like with a big bowl of rice. Anyone want some?
Wait, do you at least have a rice cooker, or do you cook it old school? That's why. That's why. Rice is such a pain in the ass.
Rice is so difficult, and I really want to congratulate the Chinese and Japanese for nailing it every time, because I am too white to do it.
Do they? Do you
man. Absolutely.
Do you reckon they got them in the background? Yeah, they're in the back. They're like, you made too much fucking rice, and they're all going nuts about it. It's like, they'll never know. They think we're experts. Get it out there.
No, I literally think that has never happened. No.
Also, a lad, I've never been to Japan. All right,
Have you? Isaac, you've been to Japan, yeah?
I was there on a 10-hour stopover. I went to Osaka. That's it.
Nice.
But I also did 7 years of Japanese language
How much
school.
rice did you eat?
I couldn't tell you. Why?
See,
I feel like this is a loaded question.
Because it wouldn't be too much now, would it? Because
no, of course
if
not.
it was too much rice, you'd have been like, nah, they gave me, there's like
the
a
perfect
suitcase.
amount.
They gave me a suitcase full of rice, but nah, perfect amount because you don't remember it. There you go. I'm just saying.
On that note, those Asian country, Hong Kong, first recorded of reinfection. So we had
Are you kidding me on right now, mate? Are you kidding me on?
No, it's happening.
I know it's happening. It's also my fun fact of the day, isn't it?
Right, we'll cut this out. Cut this out.
What we'll do for the edit. Jiu Hong Kong. Great place.
We're just keeping this in because you're a fucking idiot.
It's the one thing that we actually pre-planned.
It's
The one thing we pre-planned.
One
Hong
thing.
Kong, if you're looking to sponsor us as well, go for it.
We're actually providing free visas, 3-year-long visas to 3 Schooners land of plenty.
Yeah,
all Hong Kong residents.
Yeah, that's
during your time in need.
They've just changed, I believe, how the people from Hong Kong could get PR. I think they've made it.
Yeah,
that was the joke. That was the joke I was making.
Oh,
good job.
Visit Hong Kong.
Was it?
I do what? I'm getting another beer.
Yeah, mate. I've noticed that Isaac isn't drinking his beer.
Mine is 500 mils. Mine's like 1.5 of yours.
Want to tell me the name of it again? Just for the sponsorship.
So long, darkness, my old friend.
Jesus Christ.
Never fear. What was the slogan? Never fear darkness or something like that.
It was bad. So I'm happy that we're finally getting around to do a podcast. I know you two had spoken about doing a podcast together. I'd also spoken to Dave about it. Isaac, you and I have never spoken about doing a podcast together until recently.
I don't think we've ever spoken sober.
Never. I don't think we actually have.
This is the great thing about podcasts, like, because what's free.
And may that forever continue.
Yes. Cheers.
I wasn't going to drink today.
Yes. You have to. We're called the Free Schooners.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to grab another one soon.
The great thing about podcasts is I was like, I love just chatting absolute shit.
I've noticed.
I like drinking and I love the sound of my own voice. So I was like, podcast working for me.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, it's nailed it.
I know that we've joked about it quite a lot, but if anyone does want to sponsor us at any point, like, can we actually say what? I know this is completely on a tangent, but we are recording this today on August 25th. It is about 10 to 9 at night, or 24 to 8 if we're doing it that 24-hour time. So things may have changed from our fun facts, which are, by the way, is going to be a segment every week, not fun facts, but just weird things that we've heard that week. But they may have changed, by the time that this comes out or things like that. We're going to record this a few weeks ahead of time.
So if you're watching this, thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
But this is in the past.
Yeah.
So
whoa. Are we in the past?
This is the past right now.
Holy shit.
So hello,
which is
hello,
weird.
future.
We're in the past, but we are presenting.
Wait. Mic drop, we're out.
And you can expect more of this quality comedy as long as this lasts, really.
Yeah, it's going to be 3 weeks. So we're going to try and do this on a weekly basis. It is recorded a little bit in advance, just so that we have a little bit of a backlog. We're going to have a YouTube channel where you're going to be able to watch us, like hopefully you are now. At the moment, we are all, of course, sitting in different places. This is due to being in lockdown. But once we aren't in lockdown, we can all be together and in the same room, and we'll have much better audio and video quality, won't we, Dave?
We will. I think he was hinting at me there. Not just using these headphones. But obviously what we want to bring to people from this podcast is obviously we are three gentlemen or degenerates living in Australia.
That's an anagram, right?
I don't know what.
For Ellen DeGeneres.
Oh, yes. Yes. We want to kind of describe kind of what life's like here. It doesn't have to be specifically about Australia, but a lot of English people come to Australia, and I know when I first came over here, it was pretty scary.
Yeah, just English. It's just English people that come over.
Yeah, just come over. Yeah.
Solely English. I'm from that part of England called Scotland. There's also a few of us here too. I've heard some Irish people here also, Dave, and also I've heard some Welsh people be here. And because we are all an inclusive, apparent United Kingdom, Dave, apparently
part of a great group.
Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts. But continue.
But we want to just kind of tell you about what life's like here. It doesn't have to just be about Australia. As you could tell from this podcast, we'll go off tangents and talk random crap. But that is the main thing. We are just three lads who like to have a beer, and we want to share our knowledge with all you lovely people.
Yeah, and if you guys, we will have by the time this comes out, we'll have a Twitter, Instagram, Facebook page, and YouTube channel. If you do want to, and maybe Twitch, I think you spoke about that, possibly.
Yeah,
Twitch.
I reckon a live version of this that we then edit back and edit upload as a audio clip would be fucking awesome.
Yeah, we can also have that. So leave any comments, and we promise, I'm making this promise now, Dave will personally go through every comment and reply to all of them. Dave will personally do it.
And I'm really hoping that Google helps us out right now. If you want to email any feedback to the3schooners@gmail.com, which we will hopefully register in half an hour's time.
If not, I have just had an interjection in the post and recorded a different email address in there.
Yeah.
But we will try to. This is the magic of post. Okay. Our Twitter handle is, our Instagram handle is,
hopefully the same as our Twitter handle.
Our YouTube handle is, and our Facebook is, which is of course either not the same or all the same as each other.
Yeah.
Each one's different. The Three Schooners, Three Schooners. We changed our name completely. Three Schooners isn't a thing anymore.
Yeah. It's completely different.
Wait. We should explain what a schooner is. Why haven't we
done that? Yeah. So Isaac, you're Australian. I think you should take this away.
I really wish I was a bit more prepared. It is a vessel of in United Kingdom, right? It's cold as shit. So when you drink your beer, it stays cold because it's in a big old pint, right? In any state that isn't Victoria, because we fucking suck and it's cold here, it gets too hot. So the pint is warm by the end of it. So they made a drink that is a little bit smaller than a pint, but isn't a half pint because no one wants to drink a half pint.
Pussies,
It's something in between, and it's a schooner. And it is exactly how many mils, boys?
Yeah, it's exactly this many.
It's like 375.
That's what my
Yeah.
sink is right there.
Yeah. I think
I don't know.
let me just Google that.
Point is, yeah, it's a smaller version of a pint that you can drink. And the best thing is, if you go to places in any state that isn't here, you can often get them on happy hour for $5, a fiver.
Did you say $5?
Yeah,
$5 what?
Schooners.
It's actually a schooner is actually 425 mil.
What? See, just like my size says.
But I love how I've Googled that, and then in the picture is a picture of Newcastle Brown, which isn't that, it's a very strong English beverage, which is you normally drink that to get pretty drunk back home very quickly.
Just like So Long Darkness.
Mate, that company is going to be like so hyped that you've promoted that drink so much.
Are you ready? Are you ready for the company?
I've never heard of it in my life. Go on.
It is from a bigger brewery that you all enjoy the beer of in Australia.
Is it Little Creatures?
No. The best of the best.
But
Desperados don't brew here, mate.
who does this one?
No. Think
Just
about...
opened a second.
Right. You're taking too long. It's Stone and Wood.
Is it Stone and Wood? No worries. So this is another thing we'll probably go through with you as well, like life in Australia, the beers and the drinks in Australia. They're so different to the UK. So different.
They're upside down to start. It's really hard to drink.
They go the wrong way.
Yeah. Actually, is that a thing? Like,
No, it's the way that your basin or toilet shaped. It doesn't matter about that.
Okay.
Why would that be?
Because I wasn't like Bart Simpson.
It's got to do with the moon and the lunar waves.
Yeah.
I remember the reason I found this out. I was really young, and I was at a mate's house. I flushed their toilet. My brain just collapsed because the water went the other way. You know, like they had the blue water, and I was fascinated. I was like, "Wow, blue!" And it went the other way around from my toilet, and I went, "Australia's a lie."
Yeah.
Australia doesn't exist, of course.
Yeah.
All actors.
Yeah, I heard.
I can't. Where are you getting your wages in from that? I'm still waiting.
That was definitely done by some like flat worlders, wasn't it? Yeah. The insects, guys, the insects aren't as bad as you think they'd be. But I did see
like 3 spiders since I've been here.
Yeah, I saw a redback the other week.
I've seen 2 snakes, so that was cool.
Yeah, when I did my farm work, which we'll go into another time, but when I saw my farm work, I did is it brown back snake or the brown snake? No, it's like the fair venomous snake. It was like right there, but I'll talk about that another time. I saw a redback the other week as well. Honestly, you think like the way social media portrays it is like you get off the plane and into Australia and a pterodactyl comes down and sweeps you off your feet.
Yeah,
the welcome pterodactyl. Yeah, I got mine.
Yeah. Everyone has their pterodactyl induction.
Of
I
course.
saw like a redback.
My uncle used to train them.
Yeah. And it's like quite poisonous, a redback, and you're like, oh, don't let that bite it kill you. I was just like, it's a redback. That was about it. That was as exciting as it got.
Yeah. It's not as bad as people make out.
Nah, it's not at all.
I think it might also be a Victoria thing, though.
We're also in the city. Like if you're in the outback, it's a bit different.
Yeah. But do you know what? No, they talk about in Australia, one of my biggest things is they talk about like snakes and these giant spiders and spiders that will kill you. But no one ever fucking talks about the flies in November who just attack your eyes. You'd be nice summer's day, you're talking like 30-degree heat, and you're walking down the road and your face is covered in flies, and you constantly like. I understand where the hats with the corkscrews come into it. Yeah.
Rottnest Island in Perth, that done it for me, man. I was like 12 years old.
That's ridiculous.
And I went there and I lost my shit and threw a bike off a cliff.
It's a lovely place, Rottnest.
Quackers, man. Quackers are the coolest little animals that ever lived.
For those who don't know, and
I don't know, I have no idea.
Quackers or quackers. They're those little,
the tiny little.
Yeah, and they're like smiling. You feed them food, and they're like dead happy.
They're weird. They've got no predators. They've never experienced a predator because they lived on this island where nothing else was, and so they don't know to be scared of anything. So they'll just come up to you and be like, "Hi, mate, can I get some of your food?" And it's weird because they speak English as well.
I remember sitting there. I was having a schooner. Self promotion. And it was just like running there. Well, it was just by my feet, just eating food on the floor. And it was just like not phased one bit that I was there. And I was like, and also they're the most adorable things in the world as well. So you don't mind it being by your feet, eating your food. Seagull, however, you want that bastard to fuck off. But yeah. Quackers, they're cool. They're good to go.
They're good guys. That seems like a lovely time to move on to our things.
Segment.
This thing. Segue. Transition.
Star wipe.
Do you remember that when you did PowerPoint? You did your PowerPoint presentation at school. Just press a button. It's like the shitty animation.
I think I spoke to you about this recently. I've got a job and I work in the railways, and I thought I would never use PowerPoint after maybe the age of 14 years old when I was doing presentations in school. I swear to God, I'd done 4 PowerPoint presentations every week, working in a proper job, like an adult man's job. And I was sitting there going, and what transition can we use today to make sure they're not the same? We're all out, yeah. It's a train.
You're the one person that got something out of all of those classes. PowerPoints.
I'm that guy. There's a proper job as well. And I don't work at that place anymore, but they do them a lot. Yeah, so PowerPoint still gets used. Just for any kids listening, you shouldn't be, first of all. But secondly, if you are, keep your PowerPoint skills tip top.
I mean, yeah, I'm terrible with technology. I think
I
needed to design a logo the other day, and I was like, I'll just do it on Paint. And my girlfriend just laughed at me.
Can we remove him from the call? Next, you're going to tell us to use Comic Sans.
Yeah. Comic Sans is, it's the OG. That's a go-to. I used to write all my homework in Comic Sans.
You're the worst.
I know.
And bright yellow so you couldn't see it.
Yeah. I'm the reason. It's people like me who are in this lockdown.
Let's move on to things that we've found out this week. Who's going to go first?
I think you should go first. Come on.
Yes.
I'll go first. I don't know if you've heard, right, but in Hong Kong, Hong Kong, yes, Dave, there has been the first case of someone contracting coronavirus and then getting it again. Now, it has been reported other places, but they didn't really do a proper test. This guy got it 4.5 months later, got it again, which brings me back to your comment, Isaac, of herd immunity, which therefore would not work. So, thoughts?
Well,
I mean, poor guy.
Yeah, that sucks. If he was in Victoria, he would get the coronavirus payment twice.
Yeah.
So bonus for him. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I mean, it was bound to happen, I guess. Maybe. I mean, all viruses work differently, but yeah, I mean, that's pretty crazy. It does throw a spanner in the works for like the US, for Sweden, for anyone that's kind of going down that path. And it could even throw some issues down the vaccine pathway, because if our plan is that you get vaccinated and then we kind of kill it off, but if it keeps reemerging and stuff, it could change the way that they have to develop vaccines. And
because
sounds terrible. Sounds bad.
Does that mean it's mutated? Well, the fact that he's got
there is technically 2 strains at the moment. I don't know well enough to go into it. Something about a G and a D. Someone who's much more scientifically endowed than myself may be able to speak about that. But it seems like one of them is much more contagious than the other, but not as but the same level of deadliness. That doesn't make any sense. The same mortality rate is what I'm trying to say. So it's more contagious, but it doesn't kill you as much. It's just the same amount. This is a terrible way of explaining what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say,
come to our podcast for your solid information.
So there's one strain that is more contagious than the other, but they're both as deadly as each. There. That's what I intended to say and what I didn't say.
Superb.
Thank you.
Shall I go next?
Mm-hmm.
Should we be? Okay. So I had a couple, but I think this is the winner for me. So the article was starts with, this is something I've never heard of. A Dutch expat, 34, living in Bondi, which is an area of Sydney, is left very confused by her Australian boyfriend's bizarre shower habit. Fellas, what do you think is a bizarre
shower beer every day of the week?
Right, you've killed me with this one.
Shower beer, isn't it? Shower beer.
It's a shower beer.
It's a shower beer. Unbelievable.
So she is like really shocked that her boyfriend had a beer in the shower. So she went in there.
Is superb.
Yeah, she went in there and found an empty beer bottle, which, you know, she's some Sherlock Holmes, but she's deduced that he's had a shower beer. She's like, why is there an empty bottle in here? He's like, well, I had a beer. Here's this transcript. He's like, oh, I just had a shower beer the other day. And she's like, a shower beer? He's like, a shower beer.
You have to do the Dutch accent.
No, we'll lose we'll lose all our Dutch followers, which we have none at the minute. And he's like, yeah, shower beer. And she's like, a shower beer? I feel like they said shower beer a lot, but I don't think that's weird. I think, you know, it's a nice long day, especially it's been a hot day, you've been working away, you know, especially if you're working in a construction or somewhere where you get pretty sweaty. You want to get home, get a shower. And what else do you want to do after you've had a shower? A beer. We can buy them.
All right, here's my thoughts, right? We live in a world where it's totally normalized to drink beer, right? Like it's a whatever night tonight and we're all having a beer.
Yeah.
Normal people often only they'll have beers once every 3, 4, 5 weeks, or like once.
What are you talking about? No chance.
Yeah, because you guys are from the UK, right?
Says Isaac, who's also a raving alcoholic.
Yes, I admit, right? But not in every world do people have bottles of wine every night, just casually watching the TV or a 6-pack of beer or whatever. So for some people,
to France, that is literally France. Mm-hmm. You've described a country there. That's what you've done.
On their lunch break, just necking down bottles of wine. It makes us more productive.
That's why Spain's got siestas, because they're too pitched in the middle.
That's where it all stemmed from. That's the way I look at it. I reckon as a Dutch person, she has a beer on a Friday night, maybe, and
she doesn't even have a beer. She has like a vodka, lime, and soda or something.
What's Dutch schnapps? That's German. Dutch
people, send us your thoughts. What are you drinking?
What do you guys
Heineken?
drink?
Yeah, Heineken. Is that a thing? Is that like Foster's though, where the rest of the world leave Australia, drink Foster's, and it hardly exists?
Yeah, you can barely get it. But Heineken is like a super Dutch thing. Like if you've ever been over to Amsterdam, just to see the sights.
They have a lovely canal.
Great canals.
Great windows. Just really stylized.
They're all red for some reason.
Do you know what?
I don't mind the blue ones.
I would buy window cleaner from Amsterdam because that shit is. That will get any stain off that.
By the way, this podcast is sponsored by
Amsterdam
window wiping services.
Yeah, we finally got one.
What were we talking about?
We're talking about how weird it is a shower bit, but I don't think it's weird pissing in the shower. That's weird.
Nah, man, that's fine.
No,
that's fine.
That is the most normal thing in the world.
It's going down the same drain. Like, why is that weird?
It's just,
stand a bit back, aim for the plug hole. Everything's good.
Peeing in the bath, that's weird.
That's wrong.
That's weird.
People actually do that.
Yes, man.
I mean, I probably did when I was a kid. I definitely did when I was a kid. I definitely did when I was a kid. Wait, story time. I remember being really young, like 6 or 7, and my parents bathed me and my sister together for some reason. And when she left, my mum left, I peed in the bath. And then when she came back, she realized I peed in the bath and told me off. And I don't remember much from that time in my life, but that's scarred. It's don't pee in the bath. Just don't do that. It's bad.
I just want to say something here. My little sister Pamela, this is the only time ever that I won't tell the bath story. And this is because so many people might hear it, but this moment right here, this is meaning nothing to anyone else on the planet but Pamela. I've saved your ass here. That's what
Are you kidding? I see what you're doing there. Connect with the audience and cheesy, but the rest of our audience will be like, "Nah, tell us the fucking bath story."
If
Maybe
you
one
sponsor
day.
us or get us a sponsor,
Yeah, if you-
JJ, sign
if
on
you-
to our Patreon to hear the full story.
Yeah.
If you like this 100 times, we'll tell the story.
But yeah, so I went through this really bougie stage. Bougie, it's not a word you get to use very often.
Bougie. Ooh.
When I was like 18, 19, where I really enjoyed champagne. Still do enjoy champagne, but I used to, when all the boys were going out buying beers, I'd just get a bottle of champagne and just nick it. That was
Wait, what is bougie? It's a
like-
word that's appeared on my radar in the last.
I would
You
describe
would
it as
never
cool.
have come
It's-
across it, Dave.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Nah, I'm so white.
I'd be like fancy and
So scouse.
sophisticated,
Yeah.
right? And I used to go for a shower and have a glass of champagne in the shower. That is what I used to do. That was my stuff when I was
Wow.
like 19.
Yeah, nice.
You have like a velvet glove on as you're doing it.
Always wear a velvet glove in the shower.
Yeah. It's
Not
good
for
for.
the reasons you think.
I think it's Isaac. What's your one?
Right. So my weird.
It was going off on the path down there. Velvet glove showers. It was
Interesting times. So my weird news, I don't watch or read much weird news, so I had to really delve in for this one. Do you guys know what an isoped is?
An isopod. It's something to do with feet.
Sorry, isopod.
Isopod.
I've heard this.
Isopod. So I'm going to go for it's a creature.
Yep.
Iso means by itself. So it's something is by itself. It's a creature that lives solely by itself somewhere. I'm going for that.
All right, that's fair. Yeah. All right. So it's ocean dwelling, and it's usually similar to the crustaceans. It's a bit creepy crawling. It's a bit weird.
Right.
And there is a subset of species they call like super isopeds, right?
Isopod. I'm
And
just googling it now.
Yeah, they're big mother truckers, right? So they basically found a sea cockroach that's 30 times bigger
Holy.
than other isopods. And the one that they found it's 13 inches long. So that's, yeah.
Mate,
That's,
I just googled it. Jesus.
that
yeah,
is-
right. So do you guys know what butchie boys are? Is that a thing?
No.
Pill bugs?
Nah.
No.
They
Okay.
look like giant earwigs.
Yeah, it's disgusting, right? So they found one 13 inches long on average, not even the biggest. And they're calling it the Darth Vader isopod.
What?
Yeah, because its face looks like Darth Vader's face.
This could ruin Darth
Darth
Vader life for me. Darth Vader isopod. There you go.
Okay, isopods and an order.
It does.
Stations
Yeah, it's
that include
creepy.
woodlice and their relatives.
Yeah, it's some creepy ass shit, right? And it's found in Indonesia. And Indonesia has the Komodo dragon, which is like the biggest reptile in the world. I reckon Indonesia's got some interesting things going on in their ecosystems to be creating these mega animals that are going to take over the world.
So if you're worried about Australia and
Oh.
the fucking spiders, Indonesia.
Oh, mate.
Like,
But there's been some freaky stuff on internet, like those bats. What are those bats called? And they're like super huge. Where was that? Did you see that? And it was like the size.
Corona bats. Corona bats.
Yeah, it looked the size of a human or something.
I'm not called Corona bats.
Size of a human. Are you sure it wasn't just someone in a bat costume?
I don't know. I think it was the.
Have you ever?
animal.
Is it Batman?
you're
Have you ever
referring-
thinking of Batman?
Yeah, you're referring to the new Batman trailer.
Have you seen that trailer? That is outrageous. that trailer.
I'm just going to say again, Dave. I know I told you this today already, but every scene where he's in a graveyard is filmed in Glasgow in Scotland, and it's because it's probably the most depressing place you'll ever see.
What's more depressing than Glasgow? A Glasgow cemetery. Yeah, let's film there. Yeah, Batman trailer, really good. I was on the back to the crustaceans though. I watched a video this morning and it was like talking about like the sea depth levels and like how far we've been and like what you'd expect to see at different levels. And they got into one. And there's like this level, and I'm very paraphrasing here, but there's this level where I think it's sperm whales can go down to. It's also the same level where these giant squids live with like, you know, on their arms, they've actually got teeth and fangs.
Yeah.
So like when sperm whales die and wash up on the shore, they've got all these mad scratches on their dead body. It's from the bloody squids when the sperm whales go down for a bit of a break or a bit of a dive, and then they just do battle with these giant squids. And
Yeah, well, didn't
I would watch that. I would. If David Attenborough was narrating that, I would 100% watch.
Yeah. And here we see the giant squid attack the whale.
I just want to hear him say sperm. I just want to hear David Attenborough say the word sperm repeatedly.
and then we'll get Matt on to make a remix. It'd be perfect. And that's our theme song.
Is it going to be a sad day? They need to do like something from Futurama to preserve David Attenborough.
Yeah,
Cut off his head.
I've got a list of people that I'm going to be real upset when they die, and I'm going for Billy Connolly. Billy Connolly.
Yeah, he's not. I don't hear of him much anymore.
Nah, he's not got long left. Billy Connolly, Stephen Fry.
Also, if Billy Connolly watches this, he'll be so pissed at that comment.
No, I'll be. That's the sad. What I'm saying is, I'll be sad when you die, Billy.
Yeah,
I love you, man.
Imagine if he was watching this. That's success, right?
He lived at the same place my dad lived, man. But him, Stephen Fry, David Attenborough, they're my three guys. Like when they go, I'm going to be sad.
I feel like Morgan Freeman's got to be on that list.
Yeah, but he's God, so he can't die.
Yeah.
Immortal.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I've got a 3.
Well, see, you guys lost Steve Irwin.
Oh.
That was...
Is it bad that I was young enough, naive enough, and a bit of a prick that I just made jokes for years?
Yes, it's bad.
I did the South Park thing before South Park did the South Park thing.
I mean, when any celebrity dies, there was that website, was it Wikipedia, was it?
Yeah.
And there was some of the jokes on there were...
But did Steve Irwin really die, or is he just got really young looking and his name's Robert now?
They do look the spitting image, don't they?
Literally the same. Yasmin my missus would 100%, she's told me this out and out, would leave me for Robert Irwin. And I don't blame her. I'd leave me for Robert Irwin too.
I love that. It's just like, I'd leave you for... Robert Irwin, but if you said something about a woman, you'd be in big trouble. Like I had it the other day where my partner, she woke up and she had a dream about me cheating.
Oh, that's you, man. Done.
So she was in a mood with me because Dream Dave had cheated.
How dare you told him?
Yeah. Yeah, but Joe gets the brunt of it. Real Dave gets.
I think Real Dave and Dream Dave need to have a chat.
Mate,
I'm gonna sort this out.
You are giving me bad rap here, bro.
I'm not even getting any, and I'm getting in trouble.
Yeah, fucking Dream Dave.
Yeah, me and my missus, we don't exist.
How was your right hand doing?
To be fair, I have not met with my right hand for a while, so
that's not what this podcast is about.
I imagine that's something that suffers in stage 4 lockdown. The whole
his right hand.
Just all of COVID.
Tinder, or whatever.
No, because you're allowed one intimate partner.
Yeah, you need to get the intimate partner first.
Yeah, but you can get it on Tinder or Bumble. They're an intimate partner. Also, they're allowed to travel outside the 5Ks to come to your house.
No way. So what? The police pull you over and like, what are you doing? You're like, I'm going on a date. So it's a Tinder conversation.
There's a difference between a date and an intimate partner. You need to.
No. An intimate partner is someone that you're intimate with. That is it. There's no.
So do you have to agree Netflix and chill before you make the commute, or?
Nah, you have. I think technically, if you're going to be an intimate partner, you have to agree. You're.
So if anyone's in Melbourne and wants to be my intimate partner, don't forget it's the 3 Schooners at gmail.com. Isaac.
Didn't you try and run for local government recently as well?
Right. So I'll do the summary version. I decided to semi-jokingly announce that I was running for local council, and I started a GoFundMe page to raise capital to do my administration fees. How much did you raise? I raised $5 before it got taken down. It got taken down within 3 days. That is outrageous. How vicious the political game is. $5. He's a threat. Yeah, absolutely. I think Dan's scared I'm coming for his job. Yeah. He says it's just another dictator on the way. I'd be a fair government. I'd even do these ones. You got to hold your fist. Oh, mate, this was my least favorite. So anyone that is listening and not watching, that's a word.
the thumb thing. Do it again, Isaac.
You hold your hand, and then you point your thumb out from your hand, almost like a thumbs up, but it faces down. Everyone, get your hand in a thumbs up. Then place your thumb down slowly in front of you, so it's like hugging your index finger from the top, not from the side. Right? So it's kind of like you're pointing someone, but with your thumbnail, and then you gesture at someone like that. And
I would call it the politician pose.
yeah, and I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Is that when they're all shouting?
6 months.
Is that when because it's rude to point, so they'll just point
or you do these ones. You can do these ones. Open hands, all your fingers, like a karate chop at people's faces in a non-polite way.
Where do you think that comes from?
I don't
know.
Do you know?
You need to learn something when you do 3 years in politics at uni, right? So if it's like hand movements. I didn't do politics. No, I did something even more useful: film and digital media. Bam.
It's actually quite useful now.
Digital media. Hello, we're doing it. We're doing it right now.
It's changed a lot in 10 years. Trust me.
I did learn that where the handshake come from. I don't know how true this is. If anyone wants to verify it, but a handshake
fact check.
Yeah, we should fact check this. A handshake was traditionally in the old times, when everyone carried guns or whatever. A handshake.
It was when swords were.
Was it swords? Okay. Yeah. You'd shake someone's hand to show you're not bearing arms or something. It was a way.
Yeah. So, but you didn't shake the hand. You actually shook halfway up the arm, and did it. Like you grabbed onto the person's forearm.
Okay.
That way, because they might be wearing sleeves and holding something up their sleeves. And I might be very incorrect. So anyone's listening from Scotland, and I say this and I'm wrong, but I did get told this once when I was talking about this exact thing. It's the reason that, so when Scottish people are dressed in kilts, in our socks, you've got a knife in the sock. And I think that's where that stemmed from, because they would shake your hand thinking that you didn't have a weapon, but you kept one in. It's called the ski and do. No one ever.
I've heard of that. Ski do.
No one ever believes me in Australia when I tell them that when we go to a wedding, we've got a knife in our sock. All of us.
I went to a friend's wedding. I was actually one of his groomsmen, and we all had to. He was Scottish heritage, and we had to wear kilts and all that. Mate, that's probably the only time I'll wear a kilt in my life. But it was the coolest thing ever.
Oh, it's so good, man.
Mate, that get up is so heavy.
So heavy.
It's the real fit out, and there's so much that goes into it.
Like a good kilt can cost you over £1,000 for a kilt.
Yeah, it was crazy.
They weigh a lot, and so we used to have the knife, and I think that's where that came from. I might be wrong, but I remember someone telling me that. So yeah, we've got this little knife that if back in the day, if we're ever in battle, we just take it out the sock and get a good chib.
Is there any Australian traditional that like the Scottish have kilts?
I don't know. We steal shit.
Yeah, I feel like we might have to edit that bit out. British people, we don't really. Something borrowed, something blue, something new. Is that
something
British?
Something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue.
I think that's just marriage, isn't it?
Is that just marriage?
I've seen that in an American movie.
Yeah. I might typically be in English and try and claim it as our own.
Yeah. So it's kind of what English do. You've got a nice country. We'll take that.
Yeah. Here's the Commonwealth.
On that note, I think it's time to wrap things up, guys.
Yeah. No. So thank you very much for listening to our podcast.
Episode 1 of
Episode 1.
Schooners. Yeah. Hopefully many more to come.
Yeah. Don't forget we've got Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We got all of the things.
What's our handle again, Isaac? What's our handle?
The three Schooners.
Yeah, the 3 Schooners. As you can see, the thumbnail will be me holding this right now. 3, 2, 1, and that'll be it right there.
Yeah, right.
That'll be it, and you'll see it, and you'll go. He was right. He got the handles. He did it. That's actually what I'm doing after this.
I don't know about you boys, but I enjoyed it. Yeah, it's good.
We've done well. We're going to have to think of what our subject next week is, because we didn't actually spend a lot of time on this week's subject. But
let's just do it again, fella.
Jesus. But yeah, so thanks very much for listening to us, guys.
Yeah, no, thank you very much.
From JJ, goodbye.
From David, goodbye. Thank you very much.
Oh, wait, we were doing individual sign-offs like that.
It was going that way. Yeah.
Really lengthening this, right? And from Isaac, good day.
Good day. Yeah. Love you guys. We'll see you next week. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
This podcast was produced by JJ Gardiner, featuring Isaac Gatziosin and David James on the network of JJ Moore Sack.